is heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Now that's a name I've not heard.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is
Shake and bake and pull it back.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is In this, you shall know that the Lord is
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is
What's in the box?
like a spider-man.
Damn, I have not heard that in a hot second. Welcome in, guys, to the Cover Price Weekly Top 10 for the week ending October 21st. We have Lando filling in for Marty tonight. So, Lando, say what's good.
What's going on, guys? I'm so honored to be here. Of course, I hope everything's fine with Marty. Marty is okay, from what I know, but I appreciate you guys reaching out to me, especially considering I missed out on New York Comic Con. This is the closest I'm going to get to it, because what a list!
A lot of New York coming up. Gabe, say what's up.
What's up, everybody? Another great Tuesday. We got Lando filling in for Marty. Marty, I don't know. Maybe he's voting. Maybe he got swept away by a hurricane. I don't know. There's so much going on in Florida these days. But like Lando said, if you missed out on New York Comic Con, you come to the right place, because this is going to feel a whole lot like New York Comic Con. So let's get ready to talk about variants, let's talk about some fun stuff. It's a good list. So might be an offer unless you made it to New York Comic Con. So let's see what everybody gets tonight.
There's a couple on there that might surprise. They want to see your shirt, Gabe. Oh, classic. Love it. I love that.
Can't go wrong with Andy Kubert, X-Men. Yes, sir.
As long as no one's asking him to take off his shirt, we're good, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
No.
Oh, we just started and we're already getting off track. Yeah, New York Comic Con, guys. I was telling the guys backstage, like, I am so drained from that con, like, not in a bad way, but there was just so much happening. It was honestly equally busy to San Diego this year. It was insane. A lot of really good books. I saw some people commenting earlier, like, why their book didn't make the list, but this list of exclusives was so big. So a lot of them are doing well, though. They can't all make the list, right?
Yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and kick it off every week. Guys, again, this is Cover Price. Every week we have a runners-up. And what do we have this week, Gabe?
Coming up this week, cannot go wrong with the awesome Fantastic Four. Number 11 this week is Fantastic Four. Number 13, Greg Land. Too bad Marty's not here. He loves Greg Land. 2024 New York Comic Con Next Big Thing panel variant. So this is one of the many books featured from the recent New York Comic Con. This book was given away during Marvel's Next Big Thing panel. So during this panel, Marvel highlighted future series like Ultimate Wolverine, Power Man Timeless, set to debut in 2025. One of the bigger announcements was that of a little series called The Rise of Emperor Doom, emphasizing that Marvel has big plans for Doctor Doom even outside of the MCU. Panel attendees were treated to this book as a showcase to Emperor Doom. It started blazing upwards as soon as it hit the aftermarket. We tracked 19 copies sold, 7-day growth of 100%. The high sell is $70 for a near mint, and current near mint raw is $46.
Gabe, I totally forgot to make like the side slide, so we're just gonna be backstage this whole show. Ugh.
We'll live.
Yeah.
We'll survive.
Nobody
I
wants to
never,
see it. It's all
I
about the
didn't get
books this week.
Yeah, I didn't get this one. We weren't there in time for this. It looks like nobody in the chat got it either, but it's pretty badass. It's cool.
It's amazing. I love it. And what is cool is that, yes, kind of what Gabe was saying, outside the MCU, we're going to be seeing a lot more Doom, especially within comics. And it makes sense because they're going to be pumping it on both sides, whether it be comics and the MCU. But on the comic side, guys, we have One World Under Doom that's coming out like next year, right? We've already gotten reference to this. So I'm excited for the sake of read. Now, I wish I could have made it to New York Comic Con. I wish I could have made it to this panel. The promotion is doing relatively well. Look at this. Raw copy, $7. That's $70. That's just amazing.
Not bad for a free comic book that you got for hanging out at a panel.
Exactly. But I would offload this. I know Marty knows Greg Land. But yeah, I would be selling for sure. You got it for free, like you said. Why not?
When you get these exclusives at cons, you kind of got to sell it off to help kind of pay for the price if you go into that con.
Yep.
That's
got to cover that hotel room, got to cover all the alcohol. You know, so you got to sell these things. $70 for free book, even at $46. Either way, man, awesome.
But Gabe, does $70 really cover the alcohol? Is the question.
Not there.
Depends on what kind of alcohol you're drinking. If you're just some schlub that's just drinking PBR all weekend, maybe.
I can't even think about alcohol right now. I'm telling you, it's been a long week. Okay, there you go. Runners up. Fantastic Four number 13, Greg Land variant from the 2024 NYCC Next Big Thing panel. And yeah, raw sale coming in at $70 is not too shabby. 7-day trend of 100%. This one I'm bummed I didn't get. I meant to, and I just didn't think about it. What do we have to officially kick off the list?
Momoko! Yes, of course. What's Momoko and New York Comic Con bring you? Well, more than just fights. We have Daredevil 14, guys, coming in at number 10. It is a Peach Momoko Marvel Unlimited Virgin. Now, yes, Peach Momoko was a New York Comic Con darling, but what's new? With her name attached to a cover featuring the fan favorite Jeff the Shark, there is immediate fan attention. Make it a freebie book and also throw in the fact that Daredevil is having a hot week himself, and collectors quickly took a second look. Some fans have decided they'd rather pay up now for a copy instead of this week, as more will undoubtedly hit the online retailers as folks continue to get home and settle in. We tracked 29 copies sold at a 7-day growth trend of 100%, with a high sale of $70 for a near mint copy and a current near mint raw price of $58. Momoko, New York Comic Con. Everybody loves Momoko just in general, but New York Comic Con, yeah, the heat is definitely on when she's there or even not there.
Jeff this is so cute. It's
a neat, yeah, it's a neat cover. Look, I keep talking about Jeff. I don't remember if it was, I think it was the Shakers show about like 2 weeks ago. We were talking about the West Coast Avengers book, and really, Jeff the Land Shark is just an awesome character, and I love this drawing. I'm not a Momoko fan, but I think this is neat.
Gabe, you have to like this, right?
Yeah.
What, really?
Yeah. I love Daredevil. He's like, my favorite character in Marvel, basically. I love Daredevil. Peach Momoko's okay. This is all right. It's just, you have to be a fan of her kind of like chibi style, which is fine.
Like
it's great. You like it great, but
it moves and the black against the red hits, and Jeff looks so cute. I meant to pick this
up. What's weird to me though is that this is a reprint of Daredevil 14.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's the Charles Soule issue 14 from his run, which is the first cover appearance of Muse. Right? Yeah. And then he's not even on the cover of this variant. So I find that kind of strange. And I didn't know the shark was a thing. I didn't know Jeff the Land Shark. This is the first time I've heard of that.
Jeff is a thing, man. His name is Jeff. And yes, they love him. Everybody.
My name is Jeff.
Yeah.
We need to get a little clip for that whenever we see this guy pop up. All right, number 10, officially kicking off the list. Daredevil, number 14. The Peach Momoko Virgin variant. Again, NYCC with a top sale coming in at $70. I'm curious to see like what happens with this book. Like they were saying earlier, that if once people start putting up their books, because a lot of people are just getting home, they haven't posted yet. So I'm curious with this.
Rookies, you post that in line.
People post from the line, man.
Yeah.
While you're standing in line, you're posting your book.
Dude, you look on eBay and it's all photos of people actually holding the book. Like you see like their hand holding it, and they're like looking at the ground. You see their shoes. Yeah,
that's funny. That's dedication. All right, what do we have next?
All right, so number 9 this week is the Exorcism at 1600 pen, number 1. This is Stephanie Hahn's cover. It's a 1 in 10 retailer incentive. IDW came out this month. Oof. The synopsis for this title is a little on the nose with the political climate in America. That was enough to get fans interested. But then Stephanie Hans delivered this crazy 1 in 10 variant that got fans looking even harder. It's following the trend of aftermarket movement with substance for the IDWRI, retailer incentive variants. Typically, it's due to being under-ordered, but this book is no different. Though it's definitely recommended reading, as writer Hannah Rose May is delivering a fantastic read following her previous optioned and also fantastic title, Rogues Gallery. So for this book, we've tracked 16 copies sold, 7-day growth trend of 12%, high sell $15 for a near mint copy, and current near mint copies $13. So holding pretty strong.
Yeah, holding very strong.
What's the synopsis here? So Kelly Doyle has been elected the first woman president of the United States, and boiling political tension could spill over at any second.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Too real.
Way too real. I didn't get the opportunity to read it yet, simply because I have it ordered. It's at the shop, but I've heard nothing but great things out of the first issue. Everybody's really enjoying it. In fact, I believe it's not even sold out yet at distribution. There's very few copies left, so I would expect it to probably sell out very soon. But yeah, it does seem very interesting. I'm hearing nothing but great things. I thought the cover A was absolutely awesome. This Stephanie Hans is gorgeous, pretty cool. So yeah, I like this.
Yeah, we had the pleasure of working with her a while back. She did a Red Sonja cover for us, and she's just such a nice person. I like when you get to like really converse with some of these artists, and she's so talented. I think her style is very distinctive. I like that about her. She's collectible. That little demon thing coming out from under the desk, that's badass.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm definitely intrigued. I think I might have to go see if I can find one of these, unless Anthony has one, hasn't told me. But yeah, I would read this.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. So that was number 9, The Exorcism at 1600 pen. Number 1, the Stephanie Hans retailer 1 in 10, coming in at $15. So trending a little bit above ratio and a 7-day trend of 12%. What do we have next?
Guys, at number 8, we have the lot number 1 by Bad Idea from July 2021. The comic community has a complicated relationship with Bad Idea, as the publisher is met with a variety of opinions. Still, they know how to garner hype, and it paid off with this book. Debuting a black and white limited series is ballsy, especially as a newer studio. But when the option birds come calling from Hollywood, they often look at under-the-radar titles like this. Rumors were swirling at New York Comic Con that Bad Idea would announce this project was being greenlit for the Hollywood treatment. And that rumor was in fact correct. With Akela Cooper set to adapt the project, Bad Idea gets its first publicly announced optioned book. We tracked 19 copies sold at a 7-day growth trend of 192%, with a high sale of $90 for a CGC 9.8 copy and a current near mint raw price of $17. Now, I haven't picked this up at all. I haven't read it. I'm not familiar with it. It does seem relatively interesting, but one thing that is just mentioned is that, yeah, the community, when it comes to Bad Idea, it's a little rough, I guess we could say. You know, myself, I remember when Bad Idea was
First started?
releasing. Sorry.
When they first started, do you remember that?
Yeah, so there was that, but there was also, you remember the CGC empty cases they were selling?
Yeah.
It's still the
Yeah.
dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Dude, as a collector, I was beyond insulted. I was like, I pay money for this stuff to get graded. You know what I mean? I'm taking care of my books, and this is what happens. But that's a whole other feeling. The book itself, now that it's been optioned, I think it is worthy to take a look at for the sake of read. I'd like to get familiar with that, but it's crazy. And it is very true how anytime something is optioned or, you know, being looked at in general, especially indie books, look at how they explode. $90 already, CGC 98. I know it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but for a book that was selling relatively dirt cheap for like what, $5?
Yeah, and like I want to just add in here. I know that Bad Idea kind of has a bad reputation for their marketing, but say what you want, their marketing seems to work. It gets people talking at least, and to
Yeah.
have something this early in their publishing career be optioned is that's kind of cool. And again, if you're not familiar with Bad Idea, the stories are pretty solid.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, I didn't read this one, and I do know that issues 1 to 4 they have the exact same concept going here with the black and
Yeah.
white. So I, you know what? I am intrigued. I am gonna look into this.
Gabe, anything to add?
I think it's interesting that it's only $90 for something that's been optioned. Like Lando said, that's pretty low. Usually when something gets optioned, it goes crazy wild. So we'll kind of see what's going on with that. But
yeah,
Bad Idea. You know, got some weird things going on with how they do things. I think it's cool the way they do random stuff, and the idea that it works, it lands. All that stuff seems to really sell really well. It kind of drives the aftermarket a little nuts. People, it has legs a lot of times when they do that weird stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I never
that CGC stuff with the blank empty cases. I lost respect for CGC a little bit there too.
Right.
But either way, marketing or not, it works. If it sells, it's a business. Business is making money. It sells, they make money, so it works.
Yep.
This is a cool cover. I'd read it if I found a copy of it. It looks interesting enough to give it a shot for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. And all the reviews that I've heard about this book have been really good. So yeah, very cool. Number 8, number 1, the top sale for CGC 9.8 coming in at $90. 7-day trend though of 192%. So that's pretty massive. Okay, what do we have? Oh my gosh, number 7.
Here we go. Number 7. I'm sure this is the one everybody was waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Now we're going to talk about the Whatnot Marvel Trading Pack. 2024 NYCC sealed box of 9 comics from Marvel. Came out New York Comic Con just this past weekend. While many debate if this is truly a New York Comic Con exclusive, since it's not offered on the convention floor. Its presence was clearly felt as they have been on fire in the aftermarket. Sold primarily during the convention on Whatnot, fan excitement quickly outgrew what was available. Sales began to overflow onto the online aftermarket as collectors might have missed out on the chance to secure one on Whatnot. Sales have ballooned since then and will likely continue to do so as sealed copies dwindle and fans get a better look at what's inside. So we tracked 15 copies sold, 7-day growth of 100%. High sell, $500 for a near mint copy, and current near mint raw prices are $485.
Okay, can we go back to your first point there? What do you think about it being a con exclusive if there's no presence at the actual con?
Is anything an exclusive at a con anymore, though?
Look,
What do you mean?
the
Like,
thing,
it's going to be like, here's our New York Comic Con exclusive. And then it's going to be at the next convention or the next convention or on a website or something like that, right? So,
I mean,
unless it sells out at New York Comic Con, right? It then ends up turning into like a convention touring variant for a lot.
well,
of people, right?
what else did they do with them if you have extra copies? Isn't that how it's always been?
I mean, does that make it an exclusive?
it makes it exclusive to that con, but then if they don't sell out, I don't see the problem with selling them after the fact if you still have them. But what I mean is, like, in order to call it a con exclusive for that con, should you have to actually have a presence at that con? And then if
So
there's
they had no, I don't know for sure. So they had, it wasn't
no,
so,
they had Hero House, so it was like a couple blocks away from the con. There was like a little setup that they did with like live streaming and stuff, but they weren't
Okay.
actually at the con.
Then that doesn't make much sense to me. Then it's another Whatnot exclusive.
Yeah, and for myself, another thing that needs to be factored is it wasn't only available at the con, guys. There were many Whatnot sellers who were selling these.
Well, yeah, during like the live shows and stuff.
Yeah, not just the live shows. Like I was seeing people on their personal Whatnots like selling these. So I was kind of puzzled as well because I was under the impression it's a New York Comic Con exclusive, only available at the con. So whether these people were picking them up at the con and selling them on the Whatnot platform, I don't know. But yeah, it was kind of interesting as a launch. The books themselves, I mean, it's kind of neat to see these books that did very well in 2024, especially like
back foiled.
Yeah, like you have Ultimate Spider-Man, you have Doom there was the Deadpool, Blood Hunt. Like we can go on forever. There's great books there, but myself as a collector, I'm not one for gimmicks. To each their own when it comes to this, but I thought it was cool. You know, the X-Men 97 drop that Whatnot did. I thought it was fine. I like the idea of mixing, you know, the pack ripping like we do with cards in the card hobby.
That part of it's really fun. Yeah, and you get to do it live. Like we went to the Hero House. Anthony and I did. We were there for a show actually, and really cool setup. They had like little individual stations where you could live stream, and they had all this stuff going. I hear that debate a lot about whether or not you can call it an exclusive for a con if you're not there, and I don't know why they aren't actually set up inside the con.
I don't know, but what I will say is I think it's fair to call it a New York Comic Con exclusive solely based on the fact that it dropped at New York Comic Con and was available for New York Comic Con weekend. So how it was put out, it's not like it was available at my LCS. You know what I mean? During the weekend, no, it was specifically through New York Comic Con, and those Whatnot sellers. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know how it really functioned. Were they giving it to the sellers like they did with X-Men 97, or did you really physically have to be at New York Comic Con?
I'm not sure on that either. I can't really. I don't know. I don't want to say one way or another.
So if you had to be at the con, then yeah, it's totally a New York Comic Con exclusive. If you were getting them mailed to you prior, you know what I mean, for the drop, then no, I don't think it's a con exclusive.
Do we know like what's the hot book in these packs? Because it's $500. Like that's
you want to find a gold foil version of the book, because there was like gold foil, there was red foil, like there was different foiled versions. The gold ones were the rare ones, and they were insanely rare from what I understand.
I'm saying $500 that could get you like that's a pretty nice high end like back issue, you know, or a bunch of other stuff, right? So that's a weekend of drinking, Lando. That's $500. That
is definitely 3 hours worth. But what I was gonna say is, yeah, you know what, Gabe, you're not wrong. It could definitely get you a nice key book, but to each their own. Collect how you like, guys. If this is what you're into, I personally am not into the gimmicks, but I do think it's a neat concept behind, you know, the pack ripping and stuff like that. I like that. I think it's cool.
I'm just wondering what the big book was like, you know, because for $500, you know, you could just not just buy a back issue, but you could just buy whatever that hot book is, that gold foil. Like someone says, golds are $300. If you just want that gold, and you know, there you go. You can just do it that way too.
Yeah.
I do like making these harder to find because everybody's already breaking them and piecing them out. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, number 7, Whatnot Marvel Trading Pack, and again, these came sealed, and what the seller would do is just open them live for people. And that part was fun. The Hero House was really well done. We're looking at a total of 9 comics inside each box, and the top sale raw was $500 and a 7-day trend of 100%. Whew. Yeah. Okay. Interesting stuff. All right, let's keep going. What do we have next?
Well, this one took off. Sensational She-Hulk #1, Mirka Andolfo, New Champions variant cover right here by Marvel, and it dropped October 2023, exactly 1 year ago. While much of this list is dominated by New York Comic Con books tonight, old or new Hulkette managed to smash her way onto the list. As a proud member of the New Champions, numerous fans received their introduction to Hulkette through the Spider-Boy series. However, her first cover appearance was this book, which caused fans to backtrack and secure a copy before gaining more traction. We tracked 34 copies sold at a 7-day growth trend of 440% with a high sale of $200 for a CGC 9.8 copy and a current near mint raw price of $31. You know, I always encourage everybody. I do it on my show as well. I cover prices, FOC, selections of the week by Lefteros, and this book was on the list way beforehand. The New Champions that we're seeing coming out now have made appearances on many books prior. See, as far back as a year ago with this particular book. So those are all first cover appearances. You remember when that Spider-Woman issue 7 popped? Well, same thing, right? So we were seeing some of these new champions slowly making their way into comics, and now with Spider-Boy, we get the first appearance of Hulkette, this being the first cover appearance. So yeah, you can't miss if you're paying attention and really, you know, looking out for especially such articles as Cover Price's FOC every week. That's amazing.
Yeah, it kind of it does all the hard work for us. My daughter's really into this series, so I think I should call her back in. I think she actually has this.
Yeah. So this is just the first cover appearance of Hulk.
Correct. Like Sensational She-Hulk 1. I've read the book. I didn't see the character at all within the book. In fact,
oh yeah, it's one of those where she's just on the cover but not in the story. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But they like I said, they were giving us teasers of these characters making their way at a later date, which is now the date that we're currently living. They were putting them on covers, right? So here we have, for example, Sensational She-Hulk. Look what happened with the Ghost Rider, the Robbie Reyes book, when we had the first appearance of Phantasma in the book. That just recently dropped on FOC this weekend that just passed. We had the second print that was available. Now, that's the first appearance, but if you go back, she's made cover appearances as well. So you might want to start looking at some of these new champions that are making their way into comics. Look for their first cover appearances prior.
I'm just impressed that this is $220 for a cover appearance of a unknown, new, not yet proven kind of character. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
The cover is pretty sick too, though. I like Morgandolph. I think that this is just a solid piece. If you're collecting any of the new champions, like what Lando was just saying, this is a good one to own. And who knows what will happen with these characters too. So much potential there. Number 6, the Sensational She-Hulk #1, the new champions variant, a 9.8, coming in at a whopping $220 and a 7-day trend of 440%. Whew. All right, we are halfway there, folks. Before we move on, because this next one's definitely one that you guys are all going to want to hear and talk about, make sure that you have subbed the channel if you haven't already. We appreciate that. We're trying to get, I think we're really close to 3K, right? Really?
I think we're over 3K.
Did we? Did we hit it?
Yeah, we're at
I'm assuming.
Yeah, we were at 3.02.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, thank you guys for doing that and getting us to that point. But yeah, sub the channel, give it a thumbs up if you're enjoying it. So yeah, let's talk about this one.
3K giveaway. Everybody hit up Bird City Comics for free.
Yeah, 3K. We'll give you guys something. We should actually. I didn't know we hit it.
Okay, so this is cool. Absolute Batman #1, the Javier Fernandez 2024 New York Comic Con, the Comic Corner Akira homage, which was limited to 1,000 copies. We mentioned the fervor in which collectors are after any and all things Absolute Batman, but this book may be the crown jewel. If you want attention on your cover, homage Akira, and you'll get it. It's been done to death, yet it fits the Absolute Batman aesthetics so well that it feels natural. It was a darling at the convention, sold out quickly after the show began on Thursday, and turned a whole new group of fans into the work, and turned on a whole new bunch of fans to the work of Javier Fernandez. It's been popping on the aftermarket so far, and we'll likely see more movement next week as collectors make it home and settle back in and start taking photos of their books and throwing them on eBay. That's going to show them holding it in their shoes in the background. We tracked 34 copies sold, 7-day growth of 50%, high sell $230 for a near mint copy, and current near mint raw is $225. So still holding strong.
Yep.
$225, $230 because this is an Akira homage.
It is a beauty. I had some friends that were able to score this prior to New York Comic Con because there were a few copies available online. Not through eBay. It was a website. I can't remember the website, but regardless, yes, I agree. The Akira homages have been done to death, but not as it's not been done as bad as ASM 300, or I could keep going on. I think of Akira homage covers, this is definitely up there as one of the best. You take that and add the fact that Absolute Batman #1 was an incredible read. There's a lot of hype behind this book. And it's not hype because people are saying, oh yeah, buy this book. We just want to hype it and hype it and hype it. No, it is a good book. It was really good. I'm on board. So yeah, it's a pure recipe for success. Beautiful homage. And you have a fantastic story. I'd be proud as hell to slap this and show this off in my room here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's really well done. This is one of the few DCs that I've read recently, and I like this version of him. I think that it's different. It's exciting. It gives you so much, I don't know, room to grow with the character. So maybe people are just banking on this eventually becoming something even bigger. Do you guys think this will keep going up?
Yeah, I do. I don't see this dropping. If we're talking about this particular cover, I think it'll hold. Maybe if it goes anywhere lower, I think it would hover around the 200 mark. But no, I think, given the fact that it was limited to 1,000, it is very well done. Like I said, look at Ultimate Spider-Man, right? I compared Absolute Batman to Ultimate Spider-Man simply because it's giving us a new version, a new universe, and a completely new take on characters that we've grown up knowing our whole lives, right? And we've been reading horrifically through the regular ASM. But anyways, Absolute Batman for me felt exactly like that, like the ultimate universe that Marvel's currently doing right now. And I really liked this approach. I think people are going to come back to this book and really appreciate it for the sake of the read. And then, like I said, you factor in the awesome homage here. I think it'll hold the test of time.
Yeah, the chat's discussing this a little bit, and I'll just say firsthand, I was there on Thursday. They had a massive line, and that was before, the doors weren't supposed to technically open till 10, but there were a lot of people. I don't know if there was certain passes that got you in 30 minutes early or how that was working, but there were a lot of people there before 10 a.m.
I know how it works. It's the vendors inside probably buying them then.
Yep.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because I've done it. I've done it. I've been there. I've seen it happen. I bought stuff. I've sold stuff before the doors open to vendors.
Yep.
It happens.
Yep.
And that's my suspicion with this. It's strange that it's an Akira homage that people are so excited by that. I like it. I love Akira. It's it's my favorite manga. I love it. I got the big box set right here that I reference all the time.
Yeah.
I love the anime as well and everything else like that. But to see that this is one of those things that sold out before the doors open, yeah, that's vendors doing that for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to that, but it does sound like it was sold out Thursday morning. So yeah, if you didn't get your hands on one, there was definitely not a big chance you were going to before the prices exploded.
Now I'm going to go and read Akira again. Man.
I
The book is nothing like the anime. The anime is Akira is five books. I'm going to say 5 or 6. It's maybe the first book and part of the last book. There's a huge chunk in the anime that is missing out of the book. It's great.
Didn't they do a Darkwing Duck homage?
Yeah, they did. That was very recent.
This Akira thing, the Akira slide is in every anime, every cartoon.
It's in the upcoming Sonic movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a groundbreaking Akira in itself. It's just a groundbreaking movie. It's a groundbreaking anime. It's a groundbreaking manga. It's homage and it's influenced so many things. So
yeah, agreed.
All right. Well, number 5, halfway through the list, Absolute Batman #1, the Javier Fernandez Akira homage, limited to 1,000 with a raw sale coming in at $230 and a 7-day trend of 50%. What do we have for number 4?
Guys, we were talking pack rips, and let me tell you, the hype is real for this one because Wolverine #1. at 2024 New York Comic Con that just passed this weekend, we had the Magic the Gathering edition for this right here. One of the wildest announcements coming out of Marvel at New York Comic Con was the partnership with Magic the Gathering. Now, we knew about this prior, but here we got a little more. Magic has been a fan favorite TCG for over 25 years. It is without a doubt one of the most popular TCGs to ever exist. Marvel has partnered with Magic to release a set of Secret Lair cards. Secret Lair is the name of a collection of highly coveted limited edition cards. To kick off the partnership, a free promotional comic was given away in a polybag with a promo card for the set. And I believe the promo card was actually Doctor Strange, is the one I was seeing a lot over on eBay. But anyways, while Marvel card games tend to reuse artwork, this collection highlighted that each card will be unique artwork. Each card features artwork created specifically for this collection, making the cards a hot collectible item for both fandoms. It just fits so well considering Wolverine has reached near mythical status. Receiving the legendary creature moniker is a must at this point. We tracked 23 copies sold at a 7-day growth trend of 100%, with a high sale of $160 for a near mint copy and a current near mint raw price of $147.
Whew.
It was absolute madness on eBay. Once I saw these start making their way there, the Magic the Gathering cards, like I said, I saw the Doctor Strange card that was there. If I'm not mistaken, there was Storm available as well. I don't know if it was the card or it was a comic. But if you guys want to know more, please go check out Nearing Nerdvana on the Runners Up, because there will be information there for you guys after this show. But
Yep.
But it's neat. The hype is real for this. I mean, Magic the Gathering is without a doubt one of the biggest TCGs ever. And yeah, I think this was great news coming out of New York Comic Con. We knew about it, but now we're seeing a little more after New York
I did
Comic-Con.
not know about this. I didn't know this existed. I didn't know anything until right now.
Oh, well,
This
there you
totally
go.
flew under my radar, but I was kind of out of it this week.
Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, no, it was announced, I think, a couple months ago that this would be taking place, and now I believe it's set for a 2025 release. So yeah, like I said, you know, you're mixing the two worlds of comics and Magic the Gathering. You guys remember what happened with Magic the Gathering, that 1-in-1 card that Post Malone ended up buying off of a Canadian guy?
Right,
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings one.
Yeah, like, and he paid, like, I think it was 3 million, 2 million, something like that. So who knows, man, what direction these cards are going to go? Is there going to be a 1-for-1 available? I could only imagine that if that's going to be the case, madness is going to just take place.
It's interesting that Magic is incorporating like other licensed characters and franchises into their game, not Lord of the Rings, Marvel.
Yep.
That's interesting to see that they're kind of going that way, I guess, to get more cards sold, obviously.
Yep.
But it seems like a good card. I mean, it's a 2/2. You know, you pay a plane and a green land, and you regenerate Wolverine. He does a +1/+1 counter, does damage. Seems like a pretty good card. I'm just nerding out a little bit on the Magic side of things.
I love it.
Yeah. So do we know what Wolverine #1 this is?
I believe it was
a new series.
No, yeah, it's the latest series that came out this year.
Okay.
Yeah, this is cool. Oh, there's so many things. I shouldn't have been working. I should have been shopping.
Yeah. You should
Stupid mistake. Should have just left the booth and like back in 5.
Yeah. You got to go out there and buy. You got to go out there and inventory up at these shows.
Yeah. Every time Laura left, she missed a certain somebody. Dear God.
I know. I that happened a lot this last time, but I was trying to be there too, and it's just, yeah, this is cool. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff to come out of New York, guys. If you were just joining, there's 110 of you watching right now, so thank you guys for being here. It's Gabe, Lando, and me just covering a lot of NYCC stuff. Number 4, we have Wolverine #1, the Magic the Gathering edition, with a raw coming in at 160, which I think that seems like a pretty good deal. So far, this is like the one that I want to hunt the most. 7-day trend of 100%. And what do we have number 3? Oh God, I didn't know this was next.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. Peach Momoko 2 times this list. Oh no, it's saying Peach Momoko. Excuse me, or am I wrong?
No, it is.
Okay.
It is Peach
It is,
Momoko.
okay.
And hold on, that warrants.
This is on our top 10 here. It's Peach Momoko.
Peach
Steak.
Momoko!
Take a look.
I love Peach Momoko. I love Peach Momoko.
Dude, it's my book. Dude, stop. It's my book. Dude, stop.
Had to do it. This is the second time today. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, always good to see that. All right, so this is Spawn 357, Peach Momoko, 2024 New York Comic Con Spectral Comics, signed by Todd McFarlane, limited to 500. Of course, a Spawn variant is hot on the aftermarket, but when you attach superstar artist Peach Momoko to the cover and have Todd McFarlane slap his signature on it, things are going to get nuclear. As many have heard, multiple fights broke out in line for a crack at this book. Stupid nerds. That's how serious some fans or sneaky retailers were. It's just a bunch of fat dudes with like backwards baseball caps.
Hey, I have a backwards baseball cap.
He's literally wearing it.
Sneaky retailers were trying to regard it and secure a copy. But who wants to fist fight over some paper when you can secure a copy safely on the aftermarket with your pride intact, granted at a hefty premium? Hefty. Sometimes you just miss out on this hobby, but there is typically another opportunity down the road, people. Regardless, the hoopla and the aftermarket value made this book the talk of the convention. We tracked 66 copies sold, 7-day growth trend of 40%, high sell $310 for a near mint copy, and current near mint raw prices are $295 with a knuckle sandwich.
Okay, so I got some clarity on what actually went down because I saw the massive line. Like I'm talking a huge line. Like it was taking up the whole aisle, and I was like trying to get to my booth, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, oh, it's the Spawn line. But apparently what happened was that there were retailers and people with pro badges that were forming a line before everybody else could, right? And so they're forming a line. And I guess they came over like, you guys can't buy these. These aren't for retailers. It's not for you guys. And so they moved the line without telling the original line people that they moved the line. So the people that were in the original line got all upset and somebody got elbowed or something to that effect.
Yeah, I had seen also an article that touched very much on what exactly Gabe said earlier about how there were people lined up outside the con, like from bright and early in the morning, let's say 7 a.m., 8 a.m., and they were waiting to get a crack at this. And then only to find out, the guy who had 30 people in front of him, once the doors opened, there was already 200 people in line for this book. So it seemed like a mix of many things that was going on, but Laura being there on site, guys, I mean, you're hearing it straight from somebody who was there.
It was mismanaged. The line was mismanaged. That would be my opinion on this. I don't see them doing this again anytime soon because of that. Like it just wasn't done right.
Yeah. Now, if Todd McFarlane signed my book like on this slide, I'd be pissed. There we throw hands, guys. That is unacceptable.
Yeah. Yeah, the cover itself is pretty badass too, though. I like this. This is a good Momoko.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not the biggest Momoko fan, but I think this is definitely one of her best. I put this up there. I could understand the pandemonium, the craze over it, especially having Todd McFarlane there on site, getting this signed. Imagine if Peach was there. Holy moly, this would have been the second time at New York Comic Con she experiences madness. But,
these vendors need to learn how to do like a ticketed system for stuff.
I was just gonna say that. Why not do this like a ticket or like a lottery where like you kind of just if your number gets pulled, then you come up and that would kind of avoid this.
Yeah, time frames or something like that. Yeah, I'm sure they didn't realize it was gonna be like that. Like it was gonna be a bunch of just like sweaty dudes laying sweaty hands on each other for it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, this happens once, you learn pretty fast. Like, okay, we got to figure out how to do our booths better and our giveaways better.
Well, just the line itself wasn't really safe for people who weren't waiting in line. Like it really caused like a hazard. I feel like having that many people just kind of blocking. Because I mean, you guys know how a con works. You have like that main vein that kind of goes through. Then you have all the lines that come off of it, and you couldn't get through. I had to go all the way around like this massive thing of people. And
yeah,
I don't know.
Gabe, you know what? I think if they went the ticket route, people would be selling their tickets for a premium. Like, I don't know, man.
Hey, that's fine. You could do that as long as it's not like I hate the bottleneck and the congestion of lines. Like,
yeah,
when booths have like big crazy giveaways or items like this, when cosplayers clog up the lines, things like that, it's a hazard, right?
Yeah.
More than anything else, it's a danger. People are going to trip. It's going to cause troubles and stuff like that. Ticketed system, time frames, stuff like that's always the best way to kind of do these kinds of things. But they probably were like, oh, here's our book for the week. We hope we sell it, right? And then it's being like this huge just kind of congestion and
they had to have known though. This is like with the Campbell thing. Like you have to know after doing this for so long, which books like that we all knew this was going to be something. We all knew that this was going to be massive at the con. So it just wasn't managed right.
I'm gonna say I love this cover way more than that Daredevil one earlier. This is cool.
Oh yeah, I agree. If I had to pick between the two of them, this one.
I like the dead hands on the bottom.
Oh yeah,
the bandolier of bullets in the back. Like this is a much better cover than that Daredevil one.
Oh, I agree
the ticket thing made a mess. Why? I'm hearing people in the chat saying that the ticket thing didn't work. I'm curious as to why. I mean, I'm not arguing. I just want to know one way or another.
Usually that ticket thing that's how you do it. It's
you would think that would simplify
and you go, all right, well, we gave out 500 tickets. Tickets 1 through 100 come back at 2:00. 100 through 200 come back at 3. Like that kind of thing. I don't know, but whatever.
All right, so Ethan,
no, you can't make anybody happy, right? Nobody's happy at these things.
It was a massive fight. Everybody in line got punched. People got knocked over. There was biting and there was hair pulling. I saw somebody like take his long box and slam it into another guy right behind the shins. I
saw babies flying around.
Babies were flying.
Guys,
yes.
Chris is in the chat. Chris is in the chat. I'm here. I love wrestling. I would have loved to see stuff like that. But
oh yeah, I'd have been there just rooting it on.
Yeah. Like
no,
absolutely.
And just for the record, Anthony and I were not in this line. We didn't. Again, I guess I'm not one of those retailers that shops. I was at my booth. So
Anthony's the one who jumped off the top and crushed the guy through the table.
Right. Remember? Anthony did that massive pile. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, somehow the Hell in a Cell match just broke out.
Exactly. But no, guys, it was very exaggerated online. Even after the fact, like when I first read the article, I was like, okay, I'm going to take this with a grain of salt and let's see where it goes from there. And, Laura, thank you for clarifying with what you experienced there for, being on site. And like I said, the retailer thing also played a factor, which was not fun for those who lined up early. But yeah, I think there's a way to, mediate that. I think, in the future, maybe ask every person that comes to the booth to make a purchase, show me your badge. If it's a vendor's badge, sorry, it's for fans.
Yeah, they'll get around that too.
But then those people that work the booths don't want to be turning people away. They don't like confrontation. It's a whole thing. I know for sure.
We could all just try being adults at these things.
That would be an idea.
Or you can just beat everybody up. Like that's how things.
I think I'll go with the beat everybody up thing. That seems to be what right.
Next time, get a baseball bat, put some nails through it, and be a man.
Walking Dead. I'm doing a Walking Dead cosplay.
Yeah, you went full Glenn.
Number 3. Spawn 357, Peach and Momoko. We got a Raw coming in at 310. So
it's people's elbows for everybody.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, everybody. You guys are funny. All right, number 2. What do we got?
Well, I still want to talk Spawn 357, guys. So we are going to go with the Marcial Toledano Vargas. There you go. Okay, I think I got it right. 2024 New York Comic Con. Retailer Thank You that was signed by Todd McFarlane, and it was limited to 300. And obviously this one being by Image. Now, we see Spawn books pop after nearly every major con, and this New York Comic Con was no different. Considering it's an epic Spawn cover signed by the Todd father, the aftermarket movement isn't surprising. However, this book was given to attendees of the Lunar dinner last Wednesday night before the convention, and massive aftermarket returns are already being seen. The Spawn fandom is full of completionists, and some who couldn't make the show opened up their wallets big time to acquire this book. We tracked 31 copies sold at a 7-day growth trend of 100% with a high sale of $500 for a near mint copy and a current near mint raw price of $483. Now, this is cool. Like I said, Todd McFarlane was there, so either book would be neat to get signed, right? Whether it was the Momoko or this one. I like this one because it's exactly the cover A. Just little tweaks. You add the limited to 300, Todd McFarlane signature. Obviously, it's gonna have a premium.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love these retailers are king variants. I went to a retailer convention before, and Todd was there doing a Spawn thing as well. I think it's one of the first ones, and it's always a huge thing on the aftermarket. So these are always fun to do. Todd's very very appreciative. Like, he knows how the game works. Like, he's very helpful with retailers. Like, he's all about retailers. He's all about Lunar and Diamond and getting people together. Like, he puts on these keynote speeches, and that dude could sell. He's up there just selling stuff. It's awesome to see that.
One thing, Gabe, I was noticing, I was seeing a lot of posts of Todd McFarlane from multiple sources, whether it was, comicbook.com, Comic Tom, you name it, like everybody. I was seeing Todd McFarlane was in such a good mood this weekend. He was so nice and genuine. And I think anybody who had the opportunity to meet him definitely had a great experience. Not to say he wasn't in the past, but you could tell even more he was in a great mood because he wrote his signature in full Todd and not T. McFarlane. So there
you go.
That's worth everything.
I didn't go to this event. We were still flying. I'm kicking myself for this. I always go to the Lunar events, and I missed this one. This is neat. Spawn 347. I said spa. You can tell I need a spa.
I need a spa day. Need a little facial, some guacamole on your feet.
Grime of New York off of me. 357, the retailer thank you variant, signed by Todd, limited to 300, which the chat saying he said this was his lowest print that he's ever done. That's pretty cool. Top sale for $500 seems reasonable if that's the case, and a 7-day trend of 100%. What do we have for number one?
All right. The big book this week, everybody, still on the list, still kicking, is Absolute Batman #1. This is the regular Nick Dragotta A cover. Absolute Batman has been apparently hyped up for months with an all-new Batman design, a middle-class upbringing, and the return of Scott Snyder to the writing of the book. And the consensus so far has been overwhelmingly positive. Fans are loving issue #1, which sold out at local comic book shops nationwide, followed by an even quicker sellout of the second print, and is now heading to a third print. While copies were once abundant, with those now long gone, we're seeing a hard pivot to online aftermarket sales. With the reception it received, we've already know fans are excited for issue #2. With all that said, we've tracked 91 copies sold, 7-day growth trend of 45%, high sale of $100 for a CGC 9.8, and current near mint raw is $26. $26. All right. I was at a convention this weekend in town. And I was talking to some of my friends who are local vendors, and they were selling copies of this thing for $15. So it's hype. People are loving this book. It's an organic hype. It's like Lando was saying earlier. It's a new universe created by Darkseid. It's a new style of Batman. There's so much going on in this book. I'm super pumped. It's Scott Snyder back to the character that made him a superstar.
Yep.
This is all set, ready to go for me. I love this book. I can't wait for issue 2. This is a parking lot read for me. Like, this is a book where you get it, you go to your car, you read it in the parking lot before you go home.
Dude,
this is a must-read book.
That was well said regarding the parking lot read, because it wasn't parking lot for me. I read it at work, which I hope my boss isn't listening. But it was just one of those things where, I got to read it prior. I didn't get it on New Comic Book Day. And what I wanted to basically say about this is that the first impression for me is, like I said, I compared it to Ultimate Spider-Man because these are characters we grew up knowing for the longest time, and it was just a completely new take. It's not the first time that we've seen Batman in a new take. There's many other, versions that exist, but the way this was done was just so well executed. You have villains that we've known for the longest time now, childhood friends of Batman. He grew up in the streets. He's not a rich man. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
an awesome take. I loved it. I had said prior to this hitting FOC, I was warning people, guys, this is going to sell out at distribution. It's going to sell out. And it did exactly that. It surpassed 200,000 copies. The second print made its way. And I said the same thing. I said, watch, it's going to happen. There's hype. And it happened. But there's a third print that is coming.
Right.
So, another thing to factor is as the later prints come out, people tend to say, okay, it's enough, right? They tend to give up. That's when you should pay attention. Pay attention, because when people are starting to say, look, it's enough, that means scarcity is now playing a little bit of a factor here. So I like this book. I love everything about it. It definitely deserves to be at number one, even factoring New York Comic Con. This book still held number one on the list.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen when you have a con this big and you have a book that's already been on the list and it's holding. That's pretty damn rare.
Yep, exactly.
This took down all the variants. Yeah, this is king of the hill. And I talked to like my local shop, and they didn't last the day. Like this thing sold out. Like usually you try to order so it kind of lasts for the weekend or maybe last to number 2. But no, like this thing, like for my local shops, it was gone like the first day. Yeah. And we got Absolute Wonder Woman coming out this week, and that's sold out at a distribution level.
Exactly.
So maybe we're going to see a repeat, maybe something else. But I'm super pumped for Absolute Wonder Woman as well.
Yeah, Chris actually said in the chat that issue 2 is supposed to be key heavy, and I can tell you guys it is key heavy. You're even going to see the new Batmobile within issue 2. So things to factor. If you're really buying into the Absolute universe, you're going to like this. If you're all in, then I suggest you go all in.
Yeah, read the tea leaves, guys. This one, we've been talking about it for weeks. Lando's brought it up multiple times. Like we've all been saying, this is one that you want to get hold of while you still can. So Absolute Batman, number 1, the Nick Dragata regular with a CGC 9.8 coming in at $100. That seems really reasonable. 7-day trend, 45%. That's very, very cool. Like I said earlier, it's very rare to see something like that be able to hold its ground against con exclusives and variants and all that jazz. That's badass. Well done, Scott.
That's my favorite book of the week, just because of that. That it's not like hype for hype's sake. It's a good read. It's an organic situation, right? And that always makes my heart flutter.
Yeah. We saw that with Ultimate. We saw it with Doom. So it's cool. It's cool to see.
You're probably going to see it with Wonder Woman. So make sure you guys go out there and get Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's usually a kind of a tough sell, I think. Like it's not as, obviously it's not as strong as like these Batman titles. So to see that coming out, I'm going to support that 100%.
And then Superman's next. So it's like, when are stores and when are readers going to kind of man up a little bit and order more, or let you have to let your LCS know way ahead of time, FOC time, before FOC. I need this on my pull list, or you're going to struggle with getting these books.
That is key. If you have the opportunity to pre-order with your LCS, is great. I also hope you have an honest LCS that when they do receive it and they do see the premiums taking place, well, they're going to still honor it. So that's
we're going to count 10 of these as being damaged, and we're going to sell them on eBay.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
Jeez.
I've never done that before.
Are the retailers the villains here? I feel like we are.
No, then I go Diamond, they're damaged, so I get more copies.
But we're
damaging books, we're canceling sales, we're cutting lines.
But we appreciate as collectors the honest ones like yourselves, Laura. So like definitely, if you come across shops doing such things, you might want to reconsider. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I've seen a lot, to be honest. I did have a good time in New York. There was one day I literally had to hide under my table. Like I was underneath the table while people were buying, and I was under there just on my phone because I needed a break. It was very, very busy. But yeah, it was a good time. And
that's when you should have been shopping.
I know there was too many people. That's why I went under the table, because like I'm talking wall to wall people, and I had to run to the restroom for a second. So I go and I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, and I got stuck in between 2 guys, and like I'm talking like. It was sweat. I didn't handle it well. It was hot. It was sticky. I was like, by the time I got back, like I smelled like other people. I'm like, I don't even.
Man, you gotta call me later and give me this in detail. Yes.
Yeah, there's more to that story. I'll just say that.
Anthony was at the table like, The hell's that?
It's like it's me. I smell like people. No, I was at the con every day though, for the most part. I took little breaks and yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that was it for us tonight, guys. Like Lando was saying earlier, immediately after this, if you didn't make the list, or if you're like, oh, there's some more books I wish were on the list, they made runners up. There's one that I can think of, the JTC book that made the runners up. So head over to Near Nirvana immediately after this, and we're going to cover 20 through 12. Before we do that, though, let's do a little roundtable goodbye. Lando, say your last words.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, if you're catching the replay, comment below. Let us know what you guys thought about this list. Of course, it's very New York Comic Con heavy, but this was the closest I got to New York Comic Con. So thank you guys for inviting me tonight. And I look forward to hanging again this Thursday with the Shakers crew, of course. So that's going to be fun times. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and come join us Thursday as well. But first, go make a pit stop over on Nearing Nerdvana to catch the rest of this list.
Amen to that. Gabe, last words.
Yeah, again, everybody, thanks for showing up. We had like 113 people chilling here with us tonight. That's awesome. That's good to hear. I hope everybody had a great time. Come back Thursday. Man, there is some cool stuff on the back end of this list. Even more New York Comic Con exclusives. Like there's that Daredevil with the radar kind of thing going on. That's dope. That's a cool cover.
The Sonic one,
cool.
yeah. I got to meet him. He was very nice.
You had to meet Daredevil?
No.
He was there.
No, I got to meet JTC and I got to meet I think it was his wife. She was like kind of running or manning his booth, and the reception there was just terrible. So she was kind of like panicking because she couldn't get that little scanny thing to go through.
Oh, and then you got to pay like the outrageous, like gouged Wi-Fi prices.
There's like a rumor going around because the first day we were kind of able to get reception if you didn't buy the internet package, because most retailers don't want to do that.
No, because it's like $300. It's stupid.
It's shut off for everybody. Mm-hmm. Like they think that, what do they call that? You're not allowed to do it, but
yeah, they cut it off so that you have to get it through them.
Yeah, because then the next day
they put in those Wi-Fi blockers and stuff.
That's it. Yeah. I don't know what you call them.
Terrible.
Anyway. Good times. Okay, that's it for us tonight, guys. Like Lando said, make sure you go over to Nearing Nirvana after this. We'll see you Thursday for the Shakers. And then, of course, Friday, we have comics covered with the creators, Matt and John. So lots of content for you all week. Please like, subscribe, and yeah, have a good night, guys.
Adios.
Adios.
For the entire crew, this is TiVo saying keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out.